Hello, everybody. This is Scott Hudspeth with Agent Mastermind. Thanks so much for being here today. We got a class plan for you guys on video attraction for real estate. Brian Heckman, a good buddy of mine down in the beautiful state of Florida, was on a couple weeks ago with us and showed us how he's using video marketing with some great ideas of what he's doing, how he's doing it. Today he's back to focus on a couple other things that he's doing to up his game when it comes to video marketing. So it's not just video marketing, though, Brian. And again, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you doing this. I know you do a lot of this down in Florida. So if you guys haven't seen one of Brian's classes or attended one of his classes, get with him and find out where he's going to be next. He does this, I don't know, you do this every week or every other week or a couple times a month, or what do you do?
Yeah.
How often do you doing this, Brian?
Generally, it's not just this class, but generally we teach like a class every week pretty much at each association in our market. There's two big ones. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Brian, what do you got for us, man? I know it's it's video marketing, but it's how to maybe revive your database, or what are we going to be covering today? I know you got a lot to cover, so I'm going to let you go, but let you get going. But what do you got for us? Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we did in part one is, and I'll have a slide here. You can get the replay or whatnot from a few weeks back of just how we use video to communicate with clients that are actively looking to do a real estate transaction. It's a completely different type of message versus what we're going to cover today, which is, you just said something great. It's like revitalizing your database. And I'm just going to show you the social proof here of how I've used this to communicate with both my past clients and then also just your people that, for example, I got a referral this morning from a very good friend of mine in my neighborhood that has never done business with me. So she and her husband, good friends of ours, they don't really know any of this stuff, but because of how we're integrating video into our business, it reaches out to them in a really cool, passive way, kind of passive but kind of strategic, and just lets them know what we're doing on an ongoing basis. So that's really it. It's just, ultimately getting to a spot where you can get more closings out of touching people that are not actively right now pursuing real estate.
I mean, really, this is just, would you say that this is more or less, like what you're talking about here is more or less letting people know who you are and what you do for a living and reminding them of that, just so that when they do have a friend, family, or coworker talk about buying or refining or selling, that they call you? And is it kind of creating a celebrity status, if you will? Because video just does that. But would you say that's the big mindset here that people need to walk away with?
Bingo. Absolutely.
Okay, yep. Cool.
Sweet. So can we run?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Awesome. So so I'm just going to really give a kind of an overview on this part of it. So the big thing that I think we all deal with in real estate is a huge competitor of ours is Zillow, and whether you like them or don't like them, have a strategy or don't have a strategy, it's a huge competitor. And so I always say it's more like having a war plan than a marketing strategy to try and combat Zillow and just that whole mindset and the competition of online lead sources. And so a part of it that we hear a lot in our markets is that, Zillow's wrong and all that stuff. Well, we have to go and help educate the customers on what's right and what's not necessarily accurate. It's not really their fault that they believe Zillow. So, it's our opportunity there, and it's a huge opportunity to go and ultimately educate folks and in my book is convert them into to talking with me and listening to me versus Zillow. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. Yes, absolutely.
So most agents just flat out, they just don't have an implemented organic marketing strategy, and so what this is not going to be about is what camera to use to film your virtual tours, because boy, there's probably some companies that could do that very inexpensively and at a far greater quality than we could go buy the technology and all that. What this is going to be about is how to get turned on a marketing strategy that's organic, that pretty much is free, and definitely sets you up. You said that, and that's a great point, Scott, of the celebrity status. It's in a very humble way has kind of done that for us in the marketplace here. So we're going to kind of share and walk through that. So here's what we're going to talk about is really when to send, where to host, post, and SEO this thing. And I say the word SEO, I'm not that smart to know all that stuff, but I just picked up on a couple little itty-bitty things that's done some pretty cool stuff for us in converting. And then, of course, the content and structure, which to me is everything. And I put that as 2.0 because in the first part, we talked about how to basically put out content and structure the message for people that are hot, that are actively looking for real estate. This is going to be for those folks that are not actively looking for real estate. So we'll go through that as well. So just about me real quick. My name is Brian Heckman. I've been married to my wife, Stacy, for almost 15 years now. We use video a ton in our business. I love integrating my family, my kids into it. Scott, I think you've said along the way, kids and puppy dogs rule. And so we try and implement them as much as possible.
Right on.
And then, I'm down here in Florida. I'm a big Gator fan, so I can hear all the boos online right now, but don't make fun of me too much. But we bring this stuff into it, and just kind of who I am, and share that in the videos as well. And then, so I recently got a dog again, and so we'll start to implement, a little puppy dog into our videos here. I think it's scheduled for next week for the video to include the dog. So that's kind of who I am. I'm a mortgage guy, so that's kind of it. I teach classes here in the real estate at the real estate associations and in real estate offices and some title companies pretty regularly. Just this kind of stuff that's pretty innovative and all that. If you missed part one, this was about attracting and converting warm clients. You can get with the loan professional that invited you here today, and they can get you a replay of that. But we covered why you got to do video, the equipment that's needed, which really there's not a whole lot that's needed because we all have cell phones that do video. But you can catch up on that stuff there. So here's the cool thing is that videos can be structured, and literally you can orchestrate everything. I'm going to walk you through what that looks like and how we've systematized it in our business. And the cool thing is that the structure is what really creates the freedom. And sorry I put in there loans, but it's more closings and way more fun when you start to integrate video. So there's this number. If you go and you Google Dunbar's number, it's D-U-N-B-A-R, and it's this idea that as human beings, we psychologically only have the ability to maintain human relationships with 150 people. And so, so for a lot of real estate agents that come to workshops that we do in our market, it's like you can hear a deep sigh of relief at this part because they're told they've got to have 1,000 or 3,000 or 8,000 contacts in their database. But then when we really start to dissect that, no one can talk with and really keep relationship with 1,000 or 3,000 people. So when I heard this, it was kind of like, no way. I looked it up on Google, and it was like, it totally changed my perspective. And really what it did is it changed the whole way that I ran my business. And so bottom line is I've really got 150 people that I want to communicate in a very effective way. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense, man. So what you're saying by this is like, so if you had 150 people in your database that you connected, engaged, and interacted with and built a deep relationship with, those people are going to have 150. And then, so, I mean, the number is kind of crazy when you think about it. But so what you're saying is focus on 150, not like 1,050 or 550. Focus on the most important 150.
Yeah. So
for the best results.
Yeah, okay. And I'm just going to break down the numbers here. So NAR, National Association of Realtors, says there's a mobility rate that basically says people move one time every 5 years. Because I saw that and that was cool. 150, oh great, that's pie in the sky. But watch what happens when we break these numbers down. So that means basically 20% of people in your database are moving in a given year, right? Simple math, one time every 5 years, 20%. So that means 30 people every year are moving out of your 150 people. Whether you are on this call today, whether you like what I'm going to show you today, whether you want to do video or don't, whether you are a huge real estate agent or you're just do a couple deals a year, whether you got a database, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The numbers are the numbers. 30 people are going to move every single year. So with 30 people moving each year, just check this, and then we're going to roll into all the video stuff. If you converted just 50% of those people, that's 15 deals, depending on your average purchase price, from 100,000 up to say 500,000, depending on your market. Look at the gross commission income. That's just if you converted 50%. What's that?
On 150 people. Just on 150 people.
Just on 150 people. That's it. If you converted just 10%, just 10% of those people that already know, like, trust you, blah, 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 that would be 3 deals. So just to give you an idea, depending on where you're on the spectrum, but if you were terrible at converting people, if you just got 10%, I mean, you see the numbers, like that's a $9,000 raise in a year just for paying attention to people that are right there in front of you anyway. And of course, what you just said, like, let's not forget who they know, right? So here's what I did, is I'm like, that sounds high. What if it's only 10%? So with 15 people moving each year, if you just converted 50%, there you go. Because some people get skeptical with the numbers. So you can see that the numbers are drastic from a gross commission income standpoint, and don't forget about who those people know. So then this is where it gets fun. So you're 150, know 150. And so look at the reach that you get, 22,500 people, 4,500 people moving each year. Just a simple 20% mobility rate. So Scott, check this out. If the NAR mobility rate, 20%, that's 4,500 people, that's the pool we've got. If we converted only 10% of those people, it's ridiculous, right? It's crazy.
Dude,
so then I say
at 1%, if you converted 1% of that,
yeah,
you're making $100,000.
It's not even fair. It's not even fair.
Yeah.
So then I just take it all the way down in our workshops. We kind of break this down.
Oh, you did
5. If it's 5%, at a $100,000 price, it's $336,000 gross commission income. I'm just saying. Then we have to be having a discussion about how you hire real estate agents to help you go show property and all that stuff. That would be a different topic, and it'd be a pretty fun topic to have, right?
Yep.
So the idea is that it's a pretty gosh darn good idea to have a communication plan that is effective, that's innovative, that's relevant with how people are doing life and how they're communicating and all that stuff, which, well, video is like tops of that right now. So that's kind of the idea behind this. Now, I thought this number was just a little too high, but I went on United States Postal Service, and sure enough, they say 1 out of every 6 families moves each year. So you can go check it out for yourself from accuracy of data. I still thought that was a little high for our local market, so I literally went on and I asked top local producing agents in my market this exact question, like, hey, what's the average amount? And sure enough, 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years. These are very good. These are top producing agents in our market. I mean, they do a good business, and they backed up the data as well, right? Is that crazy?
Yep. Dude, it's insanity.
So 83% of people statistically say they'd use the same agent. 9% do. Huge drop off. And this is evident with a lot of mortgage companies and mortgage loan officers as well, is they just flat out forget because you know what? We don't communicate. We have no communication plan. And so what video has done is, in a really innovative, really cool, really sexy way, allowed us to basically communicate with our database, not even talking about real estate most of the time. So Zillow, remember, it's like this war plan. We have to educate folks on that it's wrong, and it's not the consumer's job to figure out why they should do business with me at all, whatsoever. It's a huge opportunity for us. So like what's great about video is that it really provides us this opportunity to fight these lead machines, because video is personal. It allows us to connect with our audience. It's efficient. And then, I can keep going. It's consistent, passive. You can be creative. It's engaging. It can be funny. It's helpful. It's entertaining. I mean, you name it. Video is just, it's so awesome with how you
everything.
It's just amazing. So let's roll through, like, when would you send the video out, right? So we shoot the video. I'm going to go through the content and all that too. But so I saw this, I believe, Scott, was from you or from Carl, or one of the statistical stuff you brought back to us a while back. 14% open rate is the initial goal. Remember, you're emailing to your warm 150 contacts, so it should be a much higher conversion rate if your content's good. So getting your openers to actually follow the call to action, that's the goal, not just sending out a video, but having a video that's cool enough, that's relevant enough, that gets them to basically do your call to action, so to speak. And so that just warrants the question of, if I were, Scott, I know you're an early riser like I am, but when I do these workshops with real estate agents, we walk through and just ask, a random person in the audience, what time you wake up in the morning on a random weekday? And let's say it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And so the question for the folks listening to the call is, if you were to have a nasty, disruptive, loud knock at your door at, say, 4:30 in the morning, and the knock doesn't go away, and you come to the door, and it's my ugly mug at the door with a big old grin, and I hand you a $100 bill and say, hey, have a great day. I'm so glad you tuned into that webinar. And I walk away, you're kind of scratching your head, you got a $100 bill in your hand. And then I come back on Tuesday and the same thing. Wednesday, same thing, same time. By Thursday, you're probably, well, you've got my coffee with a little bit of cream in it just the way I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And by Friday,
yeah,
that's it. And by Friday, you're literally sitting on your front porch waiting for me. And so the point is that if we bring $100 bills, we can show up every day at inopportune and inconvenient times, and it'll be well received. So we want to bring $100 bills in our content.
So just to break that down, when you say $100 bills, like bring something of value that they see as a benefit to them, or something to make them smile, make them laugh, make them feel good. All of the above works. What Brian's talking about, I believe, is if you send crap, like don't send it ever, because like they'll just block you or spam you or whatever. It's not about houses. It's not about candlesticks. It's not about what the market's doing. It's not about politics. It's not about religion. Keep those out of the mix. Give something that they could use, and I think he's going to cover that. So I just wanted to make sure when you say $100 bills, I wanted to clarify what that was.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. Not $100 bills. That would be silly. You don't need to do that. But yeah, the content, awesome content. So and this is interesting here. Basically, here's what this says: send out your communication between 6 to 7 in the morning, and it's no joke because that's when we're getting ready. Things aren't crazy. The kids aren't awake. We're not shuffling off to work. We're not engaged in our email yet. So that just confirms, hey, don't send it out during happy hour, because that's going to be the worst time for them to actually click through. And then, what days are best? I always say it's like just follow the smiley face, right? You send on Sunday or Saturday, and it looks like Saturday is a little better. Send it out Saturday. What time on Saturday? How about 6:15 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning on Saturday? Sounds good, because statistically, that's when I can get people when they're not hammered, and they're hammered with like all the different emails and all this stuff with work. They're chilling. Saturday morning is perfect time. And then how often should you email? Yeah, Scott, you nailed it. If you're going to write crap, just don't ever email anybody. But if you bring $100 bills, you could do it every single day if you had great content. That's a little overkill for me every day. But if you had great content and you're entertaining people, sure, every day. And so then, this was interesting, this communication pyramid we went through in part 1 class. And so we're not going to go through the whole thing again. But basically, those top 3 sections there, one-on-one meetings, events, seminars, and phone calls are the most effective and most influential in communicating with people. And so what's just so interesting is that video is not even on here, right? So, I mean, the pyramid's outdated. Right. But basically what we talked about is we send out video, and it's an electronic communication. That's what it is. But the cool thing that's so powerful is that it's received as a one-on-one message. So, for example, I send out a video on Saturday morning to my entire database of past clients, and to me it's a click of a button. I don't even actually do it. I've got somebody on my team that sets it up, but that video is received in their house on Saturday morning at 7:15, and it's like I'm right there. I'm on their iPad, but it's like I'm right there hanging out, having a cup of coffee with them, and I'm chatting with them for a minute or two. So powerful. So in a world where everyone else is communicating on those bottom pyramid levels, we're literally jumping all the way to one-on-one. So if anybody on the call is like, yeah, I just got to get face-to-face with my customers, this is how you get face-to-face with your customers faster than any other real estate agent is going to, because it's the perceived one-on-one meeting that takes you very little time and energy to get to. So what we got to remember is the only why to get business is this whole courting process of getting the one-on-one meeting with them. Because as real estate agents, if you can get face-to-face with them, you should be able to say it's game over. Like you got them closed if you got them face-to-face. And so what the video does is it's leveraging video to be one-on-one with them right out of the gate as fast as possible. So just again, I want to remind everybody, the whole Zillow, they're your competition thing, it's not the consumer's job to figure out why advertising doesn't equal knowledge. It's a huge opportunity for us to communicate why it's very important to talk with us about, local real estate market and all that. Huge opportunity there. So then where we, does that make sense, Scotty?
Dude, it's awesome, man. Yep.
Okay. So any questions that come up, just holler. So where to host, post, SEO.
Yeah, no questions. Yep.
Okay. We're just going to roll through this pretty quick so we can get to the content, which is going to give you guys a bunch of ideas and stuff. So where to have your video hosted, it's just two places. It's YouTube and Facebook. You can put it in a blog. Yes, email it. Yes, post it to other places. But first, we got to put it up into YouTube. Make sure it gets on YouTube. Obvious reasons. It's #1 place to put video. It's owned by Google. And then you actually have to upload it separately into Facebook because Facebook's got this algorithm where if you just put it into YouTube and then put the YouTube link, it actually doesn't get seen as much as if you upload it directly into Facebook. The cool thing about both of these is you can literally upload both of them from your mobile device. So part one, we talked about how you shoot these videos from your camera, on your phone, on your smartphone, and you just upload it right there into YouTube and Facebook. It takes no time at all.
Here's a great question coming in, Brian. Here's a great question. James, thanks for being here, man. He says, does Brian only send to 150 people on
No,
Saturday?
absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I do pay attention to.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, I send to anybody that's in my database because remember this is an email communication strategy that we're going over right now.
Yeah.
So I tell you who I don't have lunch with 1,000 people. I don't necessarily call 1,000 people, although calling people is pretty high in that pyramid. So we do call. It's just I don't make every single phone call. But I invest the most amount of time into that 150.
Yeah, I would agree. So if you track where your referrals are coming from, who's doing business with you, who's communicating with you, who's opened your emails, who's friends on Facebook, like that's where you're going to build your deepest relationships, and that's kind of where we're going with this. I would send to everybody you ever meet. I would always send to everybody you ever put in your database, everybody you ever talk to. You just never know.
Yeah, what you do is you let these people opt themselves out. So, for example, that's why the 150. I mean, I'm very conscious. I'm gonna cater to my 150. But the people that want to opt out because I'm sending them a video, and so that's their choice. They're going to opt out. But that's why email's not as effective as a one-on-one, actual physical, meeting. Whether I bring a coffee to my past client at his office, different strategies like that. That's different.
Yep.
So just beneath the video, that's the good stuff here. So this is kind of this SEO. So like in YouTube, when you go and you log this in, look below the video, and then here's what you see. You're going to click on this info and settings. And then you've got there the title, you've got a description you can put, you got tags, and then you're going to click save over there. And so what you do is you just put the keywords that you want to put in there, and this isn't an SEO class, but I'm going to show you some results of this by just doing this very little thing, how like it gets me pulled up on searches for random people, and yes, it turns into phone calls for loans or for real estate transactions. Yes, it increases the celebrity status. I mean, it's pretty awesome what you do. Just 5 minutes of doing this. And again, I've outsourced this to a virtual assistant that does all this for me, so I don't really do any of this stuff anymore. But it doesn't take much time at all.
There you go.
So here's like a great example of so your radar starts to go up on this, and I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas. So I just want to like create like an Evernote folder or a Wunderlist folder or something on your mobile device where you can just put ideas, because you will get a bunch of ideas. Like Groupon had one of these things for indoor golfing. It was a glow golf thing, miniature golfing in my market. My boy had one of his buddies coming in from out of state, and he had relocated out of state. And so I thought, well, that's a cool idea. And literally, I'm there, and you can see the place is empty. There's nobody there. It wasn't really that cool, to be honest with you. But I just thought, man, this would make a really cool video. So I think I shot well, there it is. It was about a 2-minute video underneath there. And then I just SEO'd it as, hey, something really fun and cool to do in Tampa. Note it has nothing to do with mortgages, nothing to do with real estate. And then the way we SEO'd it, you can see there's a ton of views on it. So I was at a block party in my neighborhood. One of my neighbors is a financial planner, a very successful financial planner at that. And he literally came up. He's like, hey, Brian, hey, like I saw you in this commercial, dude. Like, I thought you did mortgages. Like, why you're doing commercials now? This is exactly what happened, right? And so two things happened. A, I'm at a social function that has nothing to do with real estate or mortgage, and now I'm talking with a referral source that I did not have prior as a potential referral source. and we're talking about how we market and something that has nothing to do with real estate. And then as I was just letting him know, like, I was confused because I didn't know what he was talking about. And so long story short, we're talking a few minutes and I realized, oh, it's the Glow Golf thing. Well, he just did a simple search for Glow Golf because he was looking to go, I think, with his wife and try this thing out. And my little video here pops up, and he's like, well, Brian Heckman, what's he doing? And so he literally thought that I was doing a commercial. And then what was even cooler was 3 or 4 people standing around all chimed in, and now all of a sudden we're talking about how Brian does all these videos for his mortgage business. I mean, crazy impactful.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Yeah, it's just getting out there, getting information. Yeah.
Really cool stuff. So here's what you do. You just upload the video directly to your Facebook page. I think everyone probably knows how to do this. If not, you can watch the video again. And then you can just literally post that page out everywhere. Wherever you can post it online, go do it because it's now a website link within Facebook. So just this part right here, far better than all of this. The video you don't send out, the e-newsletter, nobody's going to read that anyway. The email, they're not going to open because it's boring and it's junk. Postcard, they're never going to be able to share that where they can share this stuff online. It's just crazy powerful. So some people are going to need helpers to do this. And so, so what I mean by that is, what we talk about is real estate agents, they have 2 main functions, and that's what you have to be focused on. And that's basically get out there and show property to buyers and get yourself in front of potential sellers in a listing appointment. Show property, list houses, that's it. So if you need to hire people to help you implement this strategy, it will put you in front of more people in order to show property and list their homes. This is a super powerful strategy here. But you might need to hire somebody to edit your video. You might need to hire somebody administrative to help you to write the email that you're going to send out or write the Facebook post or to manage that. But the helpers make you money, and they keep you on track with that. So we did this class. Scott, we can do this down the road. We did this class at the Realtor Associations here. It's building a real estate team, how you can outsource. And I know you've done some stuff with virtual assistants and all that. It's very, very well received. With the agents here, but the point being is you might have to learn how to do some of this stuff and set up a team to help outsource and help you implement the strategy. You don't have to right away. You can do it. You can do it in a very quick time frame. So
we're going to have just so you know, Brian, we're going to do a virtual assistant, local assistant type class in 2 weeks. Got a great class next week, but it's going to be the week after next. Yep.
Great. Plug into that. Not the consumer's job to figure out why the giants aren't good locals. It's a huge opportunity for us to educate our local market of why using somebody local, a local real estate agent, is a huge advantage over just, banging those buttons and those hyperlinks inside of a Zillow app. So does all that make sense?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, there's one question coming in. When you do your uploads to YouTube and Facebook, do you upload to YouTube and then put the link from YouTube on Facebook, or do you do YouTube and then upload it directly to Facebook as well?
You do it directly to each one, so you have to do an upload directly 2 times, one to YouTube and then one separately to Facebook.
Good. All right, cool.
So check this out. So about the content, this is my favorite part. So we're going to spend the most amount of time we can on this, because here's what I hope happens here is that we create a structure for the messages and the content, and then you get some good ideas, and then I'm going to give you some places, just go rip it off, because nothing's original, someone else copied it, just go rip it off. Watch part 1 to this class on how you actually shoot the videos, because if you didn't watch that yet, you don't need to be sitting there thinking you've got to go buy all this computer and video equipment and do all this. You don't need to do all that stuff. It's the speed of implementation that matters most. Even more important than that is just your content, because remember, if you're delivering $100 bills, your audio cannot be great, your video cannot be great, but the content is so good and entertains people, it keeps them watching. So I saw this not too long ago in the Realtor Association, the e-magazine. Just put in 6 ways to connect in the search bar there, and this is exactly what we're about to talk about. This article was all about 6 ways to connect beyond just screaming real estate, which is what most people do. And so you see their community, philanthropy, hobbies, creative connection experiences, and influencers. It's awesome. It's a great article, but it basically is going to be a 30,000 foot, hey, you should do this. We're going to dig into it, and I'm going to show you real examples right now. So structure creates freedom and closed loans, right? We talked about that. You can orchestrate all this. So it's way more fun when you have some structure. Structure is going to keep you from having a train wreck in your business because remember, we've got the 2 tracks that we want to run on are showing property and listing appointments. So we don't want this to derail us. We don't want to spend 8 hours on a video when it should be like 5 minutes on a video. So we can spend the rest of our time.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody heard that, but and you brushed over it. I mean, that's one of the biggest deals right here is we don't want you guys to spend like any time on your videos. There's places like Fiverr and other places to edit your videos. The biggest point is to get them out there, put them in the right place, and make it something of value so that people laugh, feel good. It's about them. Maybe it's a direct message to them for their birthday. Maybe you just get on and go, hey, just wanted to personally wish you a happy birthday. Stuff like that is huge and goes so much farther than what we don't want you to do is create it like, okay, I got to go buy the camera. Now I got to buy the platform, and now I got to have a tripod, and now I got to figure out how to editing software. And 6 months down the road, you skip it and do something else. That's what we don't want you to do. So when he talks about getting derailed, that's where I see the biggest mistake is people think they got to be perfect. We're not movie stars. We're not doing a TV station. We're not doing a newscast. This is just connecting, engaging, interacting with our database and people that we don't even know yet that will see us and then do business with us.
And you know, Scotty, it's man, when you screw up, it's almost better because it shows you're human. It makes people laugh. It gives you an awesome opportunity to be vulnerable. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So here's exactly how I structure the message. Okay, there's just, and again, this is going to be to the past clients or the cold clients or your sphere of influence because we can't go talk to them about real estate because they will opt out. That's like the biggest mistake real estate agents, you know, and us mortgage people. Full disclosure, you know, we just all we want to do is talk about us and talk about our business and our industry, and people just they're not interested. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 3 parts: the intro, the message, the call to action. So this is just the structure. And here's basically part 1 of the intro. Hey, this is Brian. Hey, check this out. It's so short, so simple, straight to the point. Exactly like part 1, the part 1 class where it's, you know, for the hot clients and all that that are actively looking, it's the exact same script. Now part 2, this is where it gets to be really fun. Creative, entertaining is the messages, and these are going to be your weekly topics. So yeah, you're going to send one of these out every week. And what day we're going to send it out? We're going to send it out on Saturday. What time are we going to send it out on Saturday? Between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning every week. So what we found is, and I'm going to show you in just a minute, we're going to come back to the message part. If you create some structure, you're going to be able to create 3 or 4 videos at a time. And if you create 3 or 4 videos at a time, what you've just done is you structured them into one tight little time frame. For example, on Monday, between the hours of whatever, 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I'm going to go create my videos, create the email, get them to my editor, and or just not even edit them, which is totally perfectly fine as well. And that way you've got 3 or 4 weeks of videos, so you don't get into this vicious cycle where on Friday night you're scrambling to do a video, or worse, you're avoiding appointments during the day or avoiding phone calls during the day when you should be on the phone with people and in front of people doing some video. So you want to structure as much as you can. So part 3 is just a call to action, and here's the script for that. Hey, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Here's what I've got. Here's how it's going to benefit you. And that's that transitional so that phrase. And then here's what I want you to do next. And what you always have to remember is you got to put your phone number or your email for however they want to reach out to you. So back to the messages. This is where it gets, I think this is where this is where the $100 bills are located. So where do you get ideas for content? I'm going to give you a bunch here today. But like I've got a consumer-driven site, and actually we redid a bunch of this and changed out a video editor. So they haven't been updated recently. We're going back and updating a bunch of stuff. But BrianHeckman.com's got like a bunch of consumer videos over the last several years. You can go and rip information off of there. Happy Grasshopper, I know, is a site. City Blast, I'm pretty sure covered here. You know, go post on the Agent Mastermind group page where people are getting content. It's all over the place. What most people do is they send an e-newsletter out with 800 different topics in the same message. So you can just go there and grab one of those messages and just take one aspect of it, and that's going to be your video for the week because you want to keep these, you know, 60 seconds to 90 seconds. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Yep.
So here's where we created structure, which really this is where this is what allowed us initially to structure and systematize the video and all that. So there's 12 months each year, and within 12 months there's 4 weeks in every single month of the year. In a few months there's a 5th week. But so what we decided is, you know what, we're going to break this out and we're going to have 4 topics that we cover every single month, and then just repeat those. So in other words, I've got 4 main topics that are going to repeat 12 times a year. So here's what that would look like, is 12 videos each year, and on the first week of the month, it's a household tip. So there's 12 household tips that go out on the first week of every single month. And then same concept with the second week of every month is a family or a safety tip. The third week of every month, that's our real estate tip. So only one time a month are we talking about real estate. And then what's worked really effectively for us, Scotty, is the 4th week of every single month, we send out 2 or 3 cool things going on in the marketplace next month. And this, I'll show you some social proof on this. This has done us really, really well. I mean, we've had people that I don't even know who they are, they're sharing our tips. We've had, you name it, start to share these tips of just cool things going on. And, you know, for example, for us in Tampa, we've got this big air show going on. I think it's this weekend. And I don't really like to do the air show because everybody knows that's going on. I like to do things that are typically maybe a little more off the beaten path that might be interesting and free. So we'll kind of show you some examples of that as well. And then so people might ask, well, what do you do for the 5th week? I don't know, just come up with something. You know, you could repeat and do the same thing. You could do whatever. It doesn't really matter. I think there's 3 months a year that have a 5th week. Not a big deal. Does that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely. So what you're saying is very little real estate, mostly, like, I love the household tips. So a couple ideas. I don't know, are you going to show where to get the household tips?
Yep.
Or family safety or something like that? Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'll show you some examples there. So, like, here's an example of week 1 as a household tip. And so this is an old one that we did where there was, like, you know, tangled up power cords. I don't know. I saw it somewhere. And so you take those little plastic clips that are on the edge of, like, a loaf of bread, and you just write on there DVD player, TV, cable, whatever, and it just kind of organizes stuff. Honestly, my house doesn't look that bad. I made it look that bad so that it kind of resonated and made sense with people. Week 2, you have a family or safety tip, and here's what gets fun about it. You know, you involve your family and your kids. I don't even know what this tip was. It was something to the effect of, full disclosure, a couple years ago, I didn't know what I was going to do for a video tip that week. So one of my kids had a good report card. It was probably my older son, because it'd be pretty bad if a preschooler had a report card. But we decided to go get ice cream because he had a good report card. And I did a video that basically said, man, it's amazing what kids will do for ice cream, you know? The point is, it doesn't really matter. It's just I'm kind of doing life and just kind of being vulnerable and letting people into my world. The 3rd week is this is when you bring your $100 bills for real estate, because I want to have something good. So sometimes I've actually not shared on the 3rd week something about real estate or mortgage because I didn't have anything good. So I'd rather share something good than pigeonhole myself into, well, it's week 3, I have to share something on real estate. You know, if I don't have a good tip, I might share something different if it's good. But in general, like, we shared 3 big changes that were coming through the marketplace regarding, I think this was 3 big mortgage changes to, like, FHA or something, and it was good. It was good content, so we shared it out.
Hey, Brian, here, you know, James just brought up a great question, and I answered his question, but he said, are all his videos different, or does he ever send out the same video every 6 months? Which, and what I don't know if you do that or not, but something to think about. If you don't date them, or especially if you're doing household tips, safety tips, different things like that, there's never a lack of these videos, and it takes very little time to do it. But if you didn't date them or have some sort of seasonal thing, you could absolutely positively reuse these videos. I would just recommend re-uploading them to YouTube so the data on YouTube didn't show when you actually originally put them out there.
Exactly. Yep. And, you know, I think I have once or twice. You know, I'm going to show you some examples where, like, I used to put a lot more effort into these things and go on location and all this stuff. I used to do a bunch of green screen. Now I just try and do it as fast and as efficient as possible. But yeah, you absolutely could, absolutely. And then here's an example of like the things to do, just fun, cool things to do in Tampa. You know, pretty much every year could be the same kind of thing in the fall. You know, there's always a corn maze, there's always pumpkin patches, there's always haunted houses, you know, whatever. But again, I do that, for example, if this was going to be for October, I would do it in the 4th week of September, so that, you know, you're not saying, hey, there's something, oh crap, it already happened. You know, you do it the night before.
Right.
And then just here's some more just ideas. You'd be helpful with people. So if you go to the beach, you can put your cell phone in a Ziploc plastic baggie, and then it's sandproof, waterproof, beer-proof, you know, everything. It's and you can still Facebook and Pandora and all that stuff. So I literally, I mean, pretty much any workshop we walk into, real estate agent will say something to the effect of like, that darn video, I always think of you from that. Now whenever I go to the beach, I have my plastic bag and I'm always thinking of you. And so it's pretty cool that it has nothing to do with real estate or mortgage and I'm top of mind. And then, you know, it's fun too because we're in a cool industry, real estate and mortgage, where we can, we don't have to be perfectly professional all the time. We can just kind of entertain. And so, like, I'm from Chicago originally. I'm a big Bears fan. The Bears are awful. So I joke around that every year during the Super Bowl, I trick my kids into thinking that they're watching this year's Super Bowl, but I'm putting in Super Bowl 20 from 1986 when the Bears were in it. And so, like, typically every Super Bowl, I'll have my wife do some sort of, like, football food or whatnot with a recipe, and I dress up like a Bears fan and my kids and all that good stuff. It basically brings people into my family, you know.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. That's so funny. That's mean too, man. So is that the year the fridge was playing, man? Do they ask why the fridge is still in it 20 years later?
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, Dad, Walter Payton's really good. No, not so much. Like, here's an example. We were on a family vacation a few years back, and my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, is like uber competitive. So we had this beanbag on this cornhole contest, and I actually won the first year, and then he went and bought this trophy, and is like, yeah, we're gonna have this trophy in our family for years. So now, like, every summer, I'll get people that ask me how the competition went and if I won the trophy back and blah, blah, blah. So generally every summer before we go on our family vacation, I do a video on that. And you talk about money, and you just see the engagement here. This was a video tip on how to look for found money. And it was actually, I think, last week that we had Jim Hogle on, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, the credit repair. So this was actually a tip I heard from Jim on these 2 websites where you can actually go find money. So I tried it myself, and it actually, there was no money for me or my wife, but my brother-in-law, and I think it was, I'm not sure who else, but people actually had money. And then you see here people that thread, people that have Rob Tucker up there, upper left-hand or right-hand corner. We found those websites, $1,000. I mean, it's just crazy. So people love having money. This thing was shared. I actually had so many people ask me to repost it. I just reposted it recently. You know, content, you talk about parties, and people love to party and entertain. So, like, during football season, the solo cup, the bottom line is about a 1-ounce pour for a shot. There's a middle line. It's about 5 ounces for a glass of wine. The top little line in the solo cup there is about 12 ounces for a beer. It's not perfect. I looked it up on the Solo Cup website, but it's pretty close to accurate. You just share stuff, you know. I mean, again, the viralness that goes on and the kind of what people talk about, it's crazy. Like, people talk about booze, so I don't really like to talk a whole lot about booze, but what we noticed is you talk about dinner parties and wine and stuff like that, and it's like crazy how many people share it. So, like, you know, you can freeze red grapes and green grapes, and then especially in Florida in the summertime, it's so hot, so rather than put ice cubes in your wine, you put a frozen grape. It's classy, it's cool. It's crazy how many people have made comments on that. The idea behind this is to get things that are shareable, because what will happen is you'd be amazed at people that just will share this to their contacts on Facebook. So that this is an example of an attorney in town that just, I didn't ask him to share it. He just saw this and thought it was a good idea to share. Same thing, it's a real estate agent partner of ours. We did this little thing of my wife came up with a little dessert candy thing for the kids to make, and there's a real estate agent that's just sharing out the stuff. So the cool thing as a real estate agent is get with your loan partner on this stuff, and if they're doing this, you don't even have to do the work at all. You just share this out. This is a great example. Look at April. April is sharing all of the work that I did in my video, but she's getting all the credit.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. She doesn't even do anything. She's not even in the video, but her clients are looking at her as, oh, that was a great idea. You know, I tried those little desserts. That was a great idea. She didn't do anything. So the idea is the content has nothing to do with real estate, because people are only interested in real estate, they say, one time every 3 to 7 years. So we're going to hit them with a bunch of other really cool stuff. And so it's kind of crass, but I think it kind of gets the message across. What we're really doing in this group is we're trying to help people attract a list, a tribe of followers. And then the big mistake that so many real estate agents and mortgage people as well is once we attract them and they start listening to us and following us, we throw up on them about real estate. Man, it's nasty,
right.
You know. And this is like, oh, I just sold this house and just listed, and it's like people, then they just opt out, right? So we talk about this is a great way to avoid the real estate vomit. It's nasty. There's a place you can follow some of the stuff that we do. Sorry, I kind of got this set up for my local market here, Scott, but
no worries.
Consistency is what equals credibility. Credibility equals a trust. Trust gives the opportunity, and so what we do is we give them, and then we share one time. So we share the real estate one time, not every single time. And especially when talking real estate, it's one time a month that we bring the $100 bill. But when it's that one time a month to talk real estate, we got to bring the good stuff. So we got to have these unique, valuable strategies to help them achieve their goal. So we talk real estate. Yeah, it's great about the market, but go back and watch that part 1 video where we gave you some pretty cool tools to use as attraction and conversion tools. Some good stuff in there. So this is the whole way you basically help consumers stay top of mind in their minds, because it's not their job to do that. So like here's an example, Scott, as we're wrapping up here.
Yep.
Like here's how we basically close with clients is just, hey, let me ask you, and I'm just going to show you an example of when it's my $100 bill, when it's my one time to talk mortgage, and I do not play around. I am very strategic. I spent a lot of brain cells and energy to make it so that I call it a conversion tool, but my conversion tool, it's a knockout punch. And so so what we talk about is, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, hey, if we can get you eligible for that $2,000 mortgage tax credit, that's that program that basically it helps you get like an extra $30,000 in home. It's like giving you a net effective interest rate on a 30-year fixed between 1 to 1.5% lower. Hey, if we can get you eligible for that, if we can look in and see if you're eligible for that Community Heroes credit, and if we can set you up for that offer accepted program where we pre-underwrite and help you get into contract, and then if we've got the ability to put you into our follow-up partner system to have this loan concierge system so that you'll never be miscommunicated or undercommunicated with during the process, and we can set you up for our fast track program so that you're more efficiently getting to the closing table ahead of schedule. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is there any reason that we wouldn't be the one to for you to run to get your transaction done? And it's a pretty interesting conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So a ton of you when it comes to so you're just kind of painting a picture for them of what if they work with you, what this would look like, and how and the team that you have in place, and how the communication is going to go, how the follow-up's going to go, all the different things that you're looking out for them with them, all that stuff. I mean, it's So if you're not letting people know this stuff, that like there's no way they're going to find out for themselves unless they hear it from somebody else, which is too late. So it's just putting it out there. And so what you're saying is to have a nice little drip campaign of different things that you, especially for past database. I mean, this is, somebody asked, is this for reviving old databases or people that haven't talked with you in a while or communicated with you or followed up with you or anything like that. This is, I mean, video works for everything. You can't beat the phone call. Face-to-face, you can't beat that. That's number one. But to re-engage, interact, and collaborate with those people that you've never done business or haven't done business with in a long time, 3 to 5 years, they know people. I always say it's not just one person. It's one person that has 150 friends, family, and coworkers. On Facebook, it's 250 friends, family, and coworkers that they know, like, and trust, that they would absolutely refer somebody if they trusted them with their own business. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's great stuff.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what this really does is it allows you to peacock. It allows you to draw attention. When people see a peacock, they stop. They pay attention. They point it out. You know, they notice. And so it's just a great way to basically go out and peacock. And it's like there's this awesome story that, you know, neighbor comes to this guy's door. It's late at night and starts knocking at the door. He's got some friends that had come to his house unexpectedly, and he didn't have any bread to feed them. And so so the guy knocking at the door, the guy inside is like, dude, go away. I've already put my family to bed. Everyone's asleep. Like, go away. It's late. And the guy at the door just keeps knocking. And so the guy inside is like, look, man, I told you, go away. It's late. Go, just get out of here. And so long story short, the guy inside answers the door and gives his neighbor 3 loaves of bread. And it's not because he wanted to be nice or be neighborly, as the story goes. It's just because he wanted to shut the guy up because he was so persistent. And so literally video is this cool way to be persistent with people without having to go knock at their door in the middle of the night. You're just kind of there with cool, innovative, relevant content, and you're just kind of doing this where people are doing life. So, you know, I don't think we have time, but yeah, so normally we like roll out and we do, this is my compliance screen, Scotty, in case we're wrapping up here. I just got to make sure I'm compliant with stuff.
Yep, no worries, no worries.
What you can do on this, though, is you put this post it into Facebook, and now all of a sudden, when you want to, and if you want or whatever, I'm going to show you some examples of how I do this, that when I go post something, my $100 bill, so to speak, it's very well received with my sphere of influence that I'm talking about my business, because I put out content that is so helpful and valuable so often that I can go and self-promote, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a great question coming in. It says, is the strategy for Facebook business, and Millie, I appreciate you being here. Millie says, is this for Facebook business or personal? Which one do you use, or do you use both, Brian?
I use both. You know, and that gets asked all the time when we do our Facebook class with estate agents here. You know, the ladies got to be careful because there's some whack jobs out there. But for me, I'm like, you know what? When I can do Facebook on my personal page, I can go get people. Whereas if it's my business page, they have to come to me. But then the business side, you can, you know, boosting your posts and targeting your audience. So there's a place for both of them. So like if you went on my Facebook page, you'd see I do it on both, business and personal. Okay.
And I personally, I don't do much on the business page. You guys are, you know, part of the business part of it. I only do personal because I know that 99% of it's personal stuff that I build relationships with. So I want them to get to know, like, and trust me. So that's just difference of opinion. I don't think you have to do it on your business. I think you can do personal as long as you're not talking business, which Brian said many times that's not what you should be talking about. If you were posting testimonials, make it about the person that you're closing with. That's really not talking business. That's just saying congratulations to the Smith family. Of course, tag them in because you should be friends with them on Facebook. Stuff like that generates excitement. You have their friends like it. You see who their friends are, stuff like that. That's just huge and endless. Another place that you can get tips, household tips, any kind of tip you want is Pinterest is an amazing place for that. If you go to Pinterest right in the very top and put in home tips, safety tips, funny tips, crazy tips, whatever you want to get, there's literally millions of different things to choose from. And then they're all pictures, very little video. But if you take the picture, turn it into a 1-minute video, hey, I found this really cool trick to use this half of a milk jug to sealed chips, you know. So the mindset behind all of this is to get into the everyday lives of the consumer So when they go to grab a bag of chips, they go to grab the milk jug or whatever, they think of you during the time that they're doing it. So you're kind of getting in their everyday life. And the stuff that's Brian doing is, one, I'm a real, like, hey, I'm a family guy. I'm a real person. I know what's going on downtown, so I'm going to let you know about it. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that he connects, engages, interacts with his people. So that's the huge mindset behind all of this. Is what we're showing you here is video. There's just nothing better, and I wish I could give someone a reason to just do it. It's like so few people do video marketing, and they say, I think it was a really high number of people would, like, it was 70-80% of the people said that they would rather do business with somebody that does video. I don't know how NAR came up with that number, if they just asked or whatever. Maybe it's the way they felt about them, or how the light that they seen them in. It's like, God, he's everywhere. He's on video. He's on Facebook. He's doing, like, I don't know what it is, but it's just a huge opportunity for you guys to connect, engage, like Brian said, and knock on their door at midnight without actually doing it, to remind them of who you are and what you do for a living. So great job on what you do, Brian. It's awesome. You do some amazing videos. And again, don't get caught up in having to edit these things, spend days and go, it's too hard, can't do it, can't figure it out. We're not professional video people. We're not movie stars. We're not newscasters. Do the video, make sure the sound is good, and get it out there.
Right.
And make it about them. Give them something of value. So amazing, Brian. Appreciate you, dude, bringing all this to the group. It's just nice to have you as a friend and a partner, a business partner. So if you guys haven't done one of Brian's classes, you're in the area. He's down in where are you at, Brian? St. Pete?
Tampa, St. Pete. Yep.
Tampa, St. Pete. Yeah. So he's in the Tampa, St. Pete area. He does a lot of classes, a lot of tidbits, a lot of little stuff that you guys could pick up. And I always learn. I learn something every time I hear you talk. So I appreciate you doing this today, man.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, man. All right. Hey, guys, same time, same place. Going to be a little more video marketing next week, but if you guys are familiar with viralmarketing.com, the guy's going to be on with us to share a really cool strategy that he's doing with real estate agents to help them build their brand. So you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to stick with this one more week, and then we're going to go into something else. But it's just a different way of doing it. Brian, you might want to check this out. It's going to be pretty cool. If not, I'll get you the replay. But I appreciate you guys. See you same time, same place next Tuesday at 12. And if you're joining us for the first time, make sure to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind. And we'll see you guys on the web. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.